As you have seen, views can help us simplify our queries. But there are a couple more benefits to using views that I want to briefly talk about. The second benefit is that views can reduce the impact of changes to your database design. What do I mean by that? Well, imagine you have 10 queries written on top of the invoices table. Tomorrow, you decide to make a change in this table. You may decide to rename the table or one of its columns, or you may even decide to move one of the columns in this table to a different table. What will happen to your queries? You'll have to come back and fix all those queries that reference this table. Now, what if I told you that you are not allowed to write any queries against this table? Instead, you should always use this view that we created earlier, invoices with balance. This view looks almost exactly like our invoices table, but it has one extra column, the balance, which is also very useful. Now, if we decide to make any changes to the underlying table, that is the invoices table, we can simply modify our view code and use an alias for the changed columns to bring back their old name. Or if we move one of these columns to a different table, we can join the invoices table with that table and bring back that column. With this design, the only place we need to change is the view. If all our queries are based on this view, they will not be affected by a change in the underlying table, the invoices table. So, views provide an abstraction over our database tables, and this abstraction reduces the impact of changes. There is also another benefit to using views. We can use views to restrict access to the data in the underlying table. For example, in your view, you may use a where clause to filter the records, or you may exclude some of the columns in the underlying table. If you remove direct access to the table, users can only update data through your views, and they won't be able to modify the value of a certain column or modify the rows that are not returned by your view. Of course, this is not always that easy, and it requires a lot of planning. Otherwise, you will end up with a big mess. So, be aware of these benefits, but don't apply them blindly to every situation. Just remember that views can help you simplify your queries, so that's a great winner. But also remember that you can use them to put an abstraction layer over your tables and reduce the impact of changes. And finally, you can use them for data security. All right, we have reached the end of this section. In the next section, I'm going to talk about stored procedures and functions.